When two or more planets combine together in a sign, then such a combination is called conjunction of planets. Conjunction of planets has a strong impact and it has a color of its own, one which is different from that of the planets combining. In this instance, today we take up the case of retrograde Mars and Ketu. Mars, when becomes retrograde, is an energy which is highly internalized. This is a strategized energy and it gives a person a very strong sense of expression, a need for expression. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it is always transferred or transformed. So, energy always needs an expression to find its way out. Internalized energy of Mars creates a lot of conflict in the person if this energy is not given a way to expression. Now, Ketu, which is a straight thin line and it is just the body of a person, does not have a head and so cannot find a direction or a way out to find expression of this energy. However, when Mars retrograde and Ketu combine together, this spearheads a very strong internal obsession and this needs a very directed source of expression. This conjunction, though initially leads to a lot of delay and frustrations, but eventually when an equilibrium or a path has been found, this person becomes one of the greatest researchers ever and also imparts a very strong focus to a person, a very dedicated focus to a person. The flip side of this conjunction is that when the person is so obsessed towards his or her goal, they lose all sense of personal and marital life. So these two aspects of the life is highly compromised. Again, we can also see that this conjunction gives a person a great aptitude for research and mathematics. This conjunction also leads a person to great sadhana. The first case that I take up here is that of Claude Bernard. Claude Bernard was a French physiologist and a researcher. His main aim or his directive was to move into free and blind experimentation such that the objectivity of scientific experiments and their outcomes could be maintained. As per historian Bernard Cohen of Harvard University, he was one of the greatest men of science. He was so dedicated to his purpose of finding an equilibrium in the fluids of the body, or homeostasis as it is known, that he would randomly do experiments on animals. He used animals for his experimentation and all that he saw was the future of mankind, the protection of mankind. The blood, the gory on the table was something that he absolutely had no care for. He had a marriage of convenience. This marriage of convenience was so arranged so that he could have a dowry and that dowry could help in his work furthering his experimentation. Once when he took up his pet dog and he started dissecting that pet dog, his wife, having found that experiment, was so in those days disgusted that she refused to stay with him any longer and separated with him and became one of his antis for propagating against experimentation on animals. But here, let's take a look at this chart and see how this combination makes him one of the men of science and one of the best known people in this industry. As we see this, Mars, which is retrograde and the lord of the 6th house of service, hospitals, diseases and health, is posited in the 8th house of research and findings. It is also the house of transformation. Let's not forget it is also the house of death. And Ketu again is the lord of the 6th house and is posited with Mars again in the 8th house. Mars also happens to be the retrograde lord of the 11th house of spouse, contact and family. It is also the gains that one would get, and 11th house is the house of future visions. This Mars, taking into view the future of mankind, went ahead and researched and try to establish the norms of equilibrium amongst fluids in the body, one which is also known as hemostasis. An interesting fact is that Mars retrograde is also the sixth lord of animals. As sixth lord of animals, it should show strong love and affection. However, keeping in mind that it is retrograde and with the knife-like planet Ketu shows a sense of dissection towards the animals. Again, posited in the 8th house of longevity of married life, this shows that the married life was highly compromised and also there had been separation. Mars and Ketu are both located in Shravana Nakshatra. Shravana Nakshatra means a keen sense of hearing. Being retrograde and an internalized energy, this person went ahead and listened to his own voice, irrespective of all shouting around him, making noises, because he knew that he had to lead his way up and further. Tony Banks, an English musician, songwriter, composer, and film composer. He is also the founding member of the band called Genesis. Known for being an ace, and as per Music Radar's review, he is the 11th greatest keyboard player the world over. Banks is also a prolific solo artist with his albums ranging in that genre of classic, pop, jazz, rock. He has been inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Genesis. With the workaholic that he is, he had, on getting married, been able to take only one day off as an honeymoon because he had to complete the album known as Foxtrot for Genesis. And the band, he says, felt sorry for him, and when they toured next, the band sponsored Margaret's, that is his wife, tour with them. As per the chart, we see that Taurus Lagna and with Ketu and retrograde Mars posited in the 5th house in Virgo, this would relate to creativity, this would relate to romance, it would relate to power and position too. As co-lords of the 7th house of public platform and also the secondary house of success and love, this gave him lot of success and lot of fame also. Mars is also the retrograde lord of the 12th house of travels and international fame. So as we see, this interesting fact can be added that this retrograde Mars is posited in the nakshatra of Uttara Falguni, a nakshatra that brings about a lot of happiness in the married life. Here, this retrograde energy may have formed certain amount of obstacles in some form in the married life, but however, he has a stable married life. Again, as we take up Ketu, Ketu is posited in Hasta Nakshatra. In Hasta Nakshatra, this gave him a very strong feature as being able to play the keyboard with such proficiency. Ketu, which is a planet which relates to our past life karmas, could also denote a strong aching or a strong linking with the keyboard in some past life. So far, this was about the natal position of Ketu and retrograde Mars. In the coming series, we will take up the position of retrograde Mars and Ketu in Capricorn as in transit and see how it affects all the 12 signs. Till then, stay safe and be nice. Thank you so much.